I'm delighted to be joined today by Kellie Harrington, one of our finest athletes, both in the ring and in the community. Hopefully getting ready for making that delayed appearance in the Olympics in Tokyo, which will be 2021 now. But it's been a very strange year in the lead up to that. We're definitely not heading out towards Tokyo at the moment, and we won't be for a while. But Kellie, you're well equipped for looking at how this pandemic has affected everybody in sport, but from multiple different ways. I think before we get into the sport side of it, how have you been doing in a personal capacity?
For me, strangely enough, I've been enjoying this break. It's been a welcome break for me, away from sport. As an athlete, sometimes, probably all the time, I don't really feel that useful because all I'm doing is training. You get up in the morning, have your breakfast, go train, and have a rest, go train, and you eat your meals in between, you come home and you go to bed. That's it. That's life, like for weeks and months on end. I work on the weekends, every second weekend probably, and I feel useful then. But coming back into this pandemic, being able to go back to work, I felt I wanted to go back because I wanted to feel of use to a cause, to go back to work and to be of use and to feel useful. And I feel useful when I'm in work and when I'm giving back, because I kind of feel useless sitting at home and not doing anything. And
it has certainly been very useful. I mean, just to put it in context, I mean, you're working in a care environment. Can you just explain what it is that you actually do on those weekends and that you've been doing more of over the last couple of months?
So I'm a cleaner in the hospital. So I'm cleaning. I'm now working on an isolation ward, but thankfully we've had no patients or anything, But that's where I'm working at the moment, and on little bits around the hospital and stuff. So I'm doing 7 days on one week and then 3 days on the next week. So I've been pretty flat out in there, and it's been busy. It hasn't been hectic because it's a psychiatric hospital. It's not a general hospital. But everyone, it's kind of mentally hard, really, because you're keeping your social distance. You're trying to do all the right things and stuff. You're trying to stay away from patients who I know for the last 9 years, who you can't really. They want to give you a hug and have a chat with you, but you can't really stay in their company for too long, and you can't give them a hug. And I'm missing all of that. Like, I'm missing hugging people and hugging those patients who I would have been able to hug before this, So yeah, I'm missing that, but enjoying me life away from sports, from being in the team. But also I'm really missing sparring, if that makes any sense. But I'm making the best of both worlds. So I'm still training at the moment on my own and with my partner Mandy, and I'm going to work. So at the moment, for me, I have the best of both worlds.
Okay, and have you been tested at all working in the care environment? Thankfully, no cases, obviously, in the hospital where you've been working on. But as a frontline worker, were you tested for the virus?
Yeah, I was tested. And still took a while to get the results back, even as a frontline worker. But I was tested and it came back negative, which was great. Like, we have had, there has been a few positive tests in the workplace, but they've been it hasn't been carried on to the patients, thankfully. Everything, they've caught them really rapidly and they've been off and stuff like that. So we're actually blessed. We really are blessed in there.
Yeah, that's great. And look, you're known as well for doing a lot of work within the community. I know we've done stuff together in the Dublin City Council Sports Partnership, and you're firmly rooted within your North Dublin, sort of homestead. Has that been equally difficult in terms of not being able to be out there and not being able to see as many of the the kids and the young people and just everybody around in the community as well?
Yeah, it's hard. It's hard for boxing clubs and for all sporting clubs, really, because what are those kids doing now that they're not in the clubs, really? I know clubs are saying that they're doing a lot of online sessions and Zoom sessions, and coaches are staying in contact with parents also, just to see how the kids are, really, and to try and keep a little bit of discipline in the kids' lives when they're not in the sporting and in the club environment. But there's also kids out there who who could do with joining the club at around this time, you know, like, so it's hard. It's a tough pill to swallow, and it's just tough. It's tough for kids at home. They to keep their social distance, and they can't go out, and they're not allowed to be with their other friends, and they're not allowed to mix. It's really tough for them, like, you know. It's
Yeah.
fine for me, but because I'm an adult, and I understand it, but kids don't really understand it, you know.
Okay, and moving on to the sport side of it, you would have been in the final stages of probably tapering your preparation for Tokyo now at this stage. Mandy has been working with you, sparring away in the on the various different social media posts that we've seen of the two of you as well. How are you fixed at the moment in terms of qualification? Have you been advised yet as to where the boxing season structure is actually going on the route now?
Yeah, like, we've just been told that it could be January, February, March, like the first 3 months of next year. And that's basically all we've been told, not told where it is or anything like that. Well, the competition layout, like, I'm still going to face Poland in my fight, so it still stands as the draw stands the way it was, like, when it stopped. It's the same draw and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
But that's as much as we know, really. Like, that's as much as we know. And clubs aren't open till the 10th of August now, so we're not going to get back into the clubs till the 10th of August and so on. So don't really know anything other than that.
Okay, that London qualification tournament must seem like another century ago now, does it? What was it like over there? Because you must have been aware that things were moving at a fairly fast pace.
See, sorry, I just have to see. We came back from Italy. We were at the training camp in Italy, and we had to come home. We had to cut this was our final prep before the qualifiers, so we had to cut that short by a week, and come home. We were only out there a week, and that was our final prep. Like, so we missed a lot of sparring out there. So we came home from that, and, like, you're thinking, are we going to go to London, or are we not going to go to London, or what's happening? But we ended up going. We were out there, and then when you're out there, you're hearing a lot of noise, like it's going to get cancelled. They're going to actually run it back to back, so it's over quicker. You're going to get into the qualification stages, and then there's going to be no medals. Then it's just going to be you qualify, and that's it. Like, there's no 4 second tour place, you know, like. So now, like, being over there and hearing all that kind of noise was a bit real unassuring, but like, I mean, I was training on the Monday the 16th, and I was meant to box on the 17th, so I was preparing to fight on the 17th. Like, I was making me wait on the 16th, and then just got the call then to say, you're going home tomorrow. Like, and I was meant to be boxing on that day, and I was just devastated that I didn't get one qualifiers out of the way.
Yeah.
So basically, because I didn't want this hanging over my head, I wanted to be qualified, and that's one less thing to worry about. Like every other athlete, really. Now it feels like I'm back to square one now, like, and, you know, have to go it all again. But I'm not looking at the Olympics. I'm not looking at the Olympic Games now. I'm just now looking at the next qualifiers again. Like, I'm back to crawling before I walk. Like, and you have to worry about qualifying before you can worry about actually getting to the Olympics, really.
Sure, one step at a time. And I know you're acutely aware of the importance of that, the mental as well as the physical preparation. So it would have been great to actually have that banked before going into lockdown. Wasn't to be the case. You haven't been a stranger to our screens. We've been seeing you in the FBD ad that was running in the digital format, knocking 7 bells out of various Dublin landmarks. That must have been fun to see afterwards. I'm taking that you didn't actually do it in reality.
Do you know what? Like, when I see it, because I'm sitting here watching the telly with my feet up eating the ice creams, and I see that ad will come on, and I'll be like, oh God, it's absolutely brilliant. Like, it's just, I think it's amazing. Like, and everybody says it to me. Like, everybody. There's not like one person there. I was like, oh, I see you on the ad. Oh, I see you on the ad. Like, it's brilliant. Like, it's great, and I love it. Like, I think it was really well put together. Like, so it's good.
Great stuff. Well, look, the very best of luck in keeping things going. I know it's difficult, but hopefully things are easing a little bit. Keep up the really important work that you're doing there in our health service. Well done. You'll never be useless. Rest assured of that, Kellie. And thanks very much for spending time with us today.
Thanks a million. You take care.